Thank you all very much. Let's give a big round of applause to your MCs tonight. They've done a wonderful job. Do you see the trick that I just did there? That was my first trick. To get you to start clapping before I even do anything. So, my talk today is called Human Hacking, Neuroscience and Magic. And I am a magician, I am not a neuroscientist, but I'll explain why the talk is called that in a moment. To perform magic, to entertain as a magician, you don't just need a fancy retro suit and a lovely assistant. Say hi to Michelle. You need to, oh, they actually said hi. You need to be able to show something that's impossible, which is, by definition, not possible. So if I show you something that's impossible, I must be deceiving you. And that's what I do. But I have to deceive you and have you like it, which is not an easy feat. I have to do something that I like to call poetic deception. Today I'm going to reveal some secrets, but not what you're hoping for. I've actually heard people go, yes! I will tell you maybe how one thing works, but what I'm going to tell you, the secrets I'm going to share with you, are the secrets to why magic works. And hopefully, I can share a bit of how you can use this knowledge, maybe in an interview. Maybe you want to use this knowledge to sell a product, to sell yourself. And I get to use crazy transitions because I'm the magic. So, there's one thing that I don't think is possible in the realm of mystery, and that is to be able to tell the future. So that said, I'm going to start by trying to tell you the future. But I'm going to do it with a card trick. I have here a very large deck of cards. And I'm going to have somebody think of one, but I want to get someone out of the audience at random, so I'm going to take this rubber brain and throw it out amongst you. Now, I don't want to hit the cameras in the middle, so I'm going to turn my back in a moment. I'm going to toss the brain probably that way over my head. If you see a rubber brain hurtling towards your face, that is not an illusion. Please catch it. Okay, so if you catch the brain, do this for me. Stand up, hold it in the air, and yell, "I have the brain." Are you ready? All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Fumble! She passed it back to the first person. Stand up, stand up, stand up! Thank you! Wait. You're going to do the same thing. We want to get some other people that I can't get to, that I can't throw to. So you're going to throw that brain again over your head. Oh, she just threw it. Like I said, not an illusion. Does somebody have the brain? Stand up. Toss it lightly. Arc it up over your head. We want a third person. Now, Michelle's going to run up and bring you a microphone. I can't see you back there because of that big light. Stand up. I have the brain. Fantastic. Now, so we can all hear you, Michelle's bringing you a microphone there. I'll tell you what you're saying. Just talk to me. You're all right. What's your name?
Henry.
Henry. Have you ever played a card game before?
Not much.
Not much. See, in that deck that I showed you a second ago, and nobody ever wants to admit that they like to play cards. I reversed a card, Henry. Now, if I told you right now to just name a card, you'd probably... Well, actually, are you all thinking of one already? You probably are. Yeah, you probably, most of you, many of you thinking of aces. Ace of spades is the most commonly thought of. Queen of hearts is the second most common. How many aces got in there in your heads? Jump, yeah, a bunch of you. How many queens? How many queens of hearts? Yeah, a bunch of you. Okay, so that said, I don't want, I'm not trying to influence. If you wanted to go with those, that's your choice. That said, you can change your mind. You can go with the card you want. I want you to take a moment, think about it, and tell me the card that you want to use.
King spade.
The king of spades.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You don't want to change your mind.
No.
You had a chance. I'm giving a moment so the cameras can zoom in. I know one of them will. I'll do this very slow. See that? One card is upside down. Yeah! So I think that's a good start. Yeah? So what did I do? Thank you, Henry. Henry, is that right? Good. Either I deceived you, or just talking right back to me the whole time. The one-on-one conversation right here. Or I influenced you, or I told you the future. See, I'll let you decide. It's more fun that way for me. Now, a lot of magicians, if you go to a magic show in the United States where I'm from, they will start their show saying, I learned the mysteries of the Far East or Egypt. And there actually are mysteries from Egypt about living life that I find very important. The most important advice that I could give anybody is to know yourself. And if you go and look in a temple, an ancient Egyptian temple, in the center holiest of holies of that temple, it will say in hieroglyphs, know thyself. It says this in all of the major temples in Western culture. It says this in the oracle at Delphi, Gnathe Saiton, know thyself. And I think that by knowing yourself, you will know better how to communicate with other people. You will know better how to present yourself in any situation. You'll know how to deal with failure, as she told us we should do. I'm going to tell you my story in a second, and I'm going to give you 3 more demonstrations of magical things, so don't worry, more of that is coming. I also am going to try to tell you, not quite the future, but some of the goals that I had for this show. And they're in that envelope over there. It's been there the whole talk, so thank you. Who noticed that? Did you notice that thing? Was anybody like wondering, like, what is that? What's it going to be? What's going to happen? I'm just going to toss this behind my head again. So heads up, guys. 1, 2, 3. I love that you were so confident. He didn't catch it, but he was so confident he just raised his hand like this. He didn't count on it bouncing off his finger. So you have the brain.
I have the brain, yeah.
What is your name?
I'm Sabina.
Tell everybody.
Hi everyone, I'm Sabina.
Sabina, I want you, Sabina, as I said?
Sabina.
Sabina, I want you to think of a place that you'd like to travel to anywhere in the world.
Like to travel to New York City.
New York City. Nice. I lived there for about 9 years. New York City. Now this will make sense later. Fumble. I grew up in a small town in Florida called Dunedin. And I did magic as far as I can remember. The story about the diapers is the story that's true, my parents tell. And I wanted to know what it was like to really fool people. I mean, I was a middle child, so middle children have this tendency to want to like get attention, and that was my thing. But actually, that's not what I studied. I mean, I studied it as a hobby on my own. It was kind of a hobby that I had in my closet, you know, in a locked box so nobody could tell my secrets. And I, even through university, that's what I did. But in university, I studied fine art. I have a degree in painting with a minor in liberal arts, so I was on the outlier path from the beginning. There was no backup from doing something that probably wasn't going to make me a lot of money. I was blessed in a sense because my mother is a painter and my dad studied architecture, so they cultivated the interest that I had in theater and art. After I graduated, I had no idea what to do. Yeah, that's me. I had no idea what to do with myself. I moved to New York City, and where you want to go? Yeah. I moved to New York City, and I took a job as a bartender. And this is where I really started to become a magician. This is where I started to learn how to influence people, how to read people, And if you really want to learn about people, go be a bartender. Because you're going to have to deal with stuff that you don't expect. You're going to have to deal with drunk people. You're going to have to learn to calm them down and calmly make them want to leave. Especially when they arrive too drunk and you don't want to serve them. But there are benefits as well to being a bartender. You meet all the ladies that are alone. And, the one good thing, if you want to create rapport with somebody, just really quick, if you want to create rapport, the best thing, the simplest thing to do, other than like them, is you mimic them. So you stand or sit the way they're sitting. It's amazing how quickly you can get them to mimic you, and that's really the game you should try to play. Try playing this game, like sit at a cafe with somebody and start sitting how they're sitting, and then see how long it takes for you to do something and them to change to do what you're doing. Because you'll do it. If you believe and you do it, you're going to do it. Now, after being a bartender and performing magic has made the customers come back, people started to say, can you come and work at my party? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess people do that. I didn't realize that it was a job to do magic, that you could be an entertainer socially like that. I guess I had a concept of it, but I didn't ever strive for it. It kind of just happened to me, which is very much like a lot of the people have been saying today, is that life just sort of happens to you, and you're like, okay, I'll follow that path. And I did. And I did well at it. And I did have to go learn a bunch of stuff about how to run a business as an entertainer, but it happened to me. Now, another thing happened to me as well that brings me to what the neuroscience part of this is. In 2006, I woke up to my sister, who was living with me at the time, over me, and my arms weren't working because I had had a grand mal seizure at night, and both of my shoulders had dislocated. I dislocated them both during a seizure, which they tell me is very rare. And I didn't know what was going on, and I went to a lot of doctors' emergency rooms and things until they realized that I had a malformation in my brain that had hemorrhaged, which is a great story if you do mentalism. So if you can see, there's a big scar, and I don't know if my hair is covering it. And this was a crazy experience because I had to decide if I wanted to be medicated for the rest of my life or take the risk of going under brain surgery. And they actually had one of the symposiums, like a bunch of doctors in a room like this, about my case to decide, well, what do you think you should do? And they said, we all talked. I don't know how many of them there were, but apparently a bunch. And we decided that the best thing for you would be to have the raspberry removed. It was the size and shape of a raspberry. And so I went under brain surgery, which is a very frightening experience if you've never been under major surgery before. There's a lot of anxiety there. But just like the moment before you go on stage, if you have to go on stage, there's that moment before they put you under. And that's probably the most memorable moment for me. It looks like this. One difference, though, this is my anesthesiologist, very hard to say, anesthesiologist. He had a big difference. He had an American flag and eagles all over his scrubs, which made me extra frightened. I didn't want political brainwashing while they were actually operating on my brain. So he's explaining the things that are going to happen to me, and he says, okay, so we're going to put the mask on your face if you just count backwards from 100, and you'll not get very far. You'll go to sleep. Then we put this tube down your throat so that you can breathe and stuff, and then you have the surgery, and after surgery we'll wake you up. And then we pull the tube out of your throat, and then I said, wait a minute. What? You're going to wake me up and then pull the tube? Can you not do that before you wake me up? No, because you die. Well, that's not really a settling thing that I want to hear right before I go under brain surgery. Then the next thing I'm going to be conscious of is a tube coming out of your throat. He said, don't worry, you won't remember that. I'm like, well, why are you telling me? It's just so confusing. The conversation this man was trying to have with me with the eagles on his face. So I said, listen, man, just tell me it's going to be okay. That's all I want to hear. And actually, at that moment, they all realized, oh, this is ridiculous. And they all actually went, oh, you're going to be fine. So, 100, pretty much what happened. And the next thing I know, I'm in some dream with family, and I'm talking to my uncle, and my uncle is telling me jokes, and I'm trying to laugh at them, but I'm more like, because I'm gagging, and I'm confused, and I come to, and they're pulling a tube out of my throat. Totally remember. And they Took me to the MRI that did a test to see if I could touch my fingers together and touch my nose. I think I just missed it right there. So, and lots of thumbs up. I think I'm okay. My head hurts. And I started to realize a lot of strange things were going on. First of all, I had no peripheral vision on this side. So they'd done surgery on the, here you go. They'd done surgery on the left side, so I lost my right peripheral vision. The words that I wanted to use, I had a hard time coming up with. Even I wanted to say car, and I want to talk about something. If I was trying to say car, I couldn't figure out car, and eventually I'd be like, automobile. But why did I do it if I couldn't get the short one? It was weird. And then I was laying in the recovery room, and I was bored, and I'm looking over at the IV drip bag, and I'm trying to read it, and I'm like, what is this IV drip bag in Russian? Why can't I couldn't read. I was like, this is crazy. Why can't I read? Because I knew I could read, but I couldn't. This doesn't make any sense. So I brought all these things up to the neurologist, and she's telling me, oh, that's normal. You didn't tell me it was going to happen. I was like, no, it's okay. In a few weeks, you'll get it all back. So why is that? Because your brain will reconnect. It'll reroute. It heals really amazing, the brain. Okay, so I'll be able, the peripheral vision will come back. She's like, yeah, I'll be able to come up with words, and the memories that I lost will come back, most of them. I'll be able to read? We think so, yes. Because they're not certain, They're not, they're trained not to be certain. But then she said, actually, we're really impressed you can talk. So, they didn't worry, they didn't tell me that was going to happen. So I was happy to be able to talk at this moment. But I realized a few things through this experience. I realized that I'm not just me. I am three parts of me. Some of you might have this understanding of self through some sort of spiritual way or some sort of self-understanding that you've gone through an experience. But I realized that I'm the 6'6" physical me. I'm a mental me that kind of controls everything. And then I'm this other me, the me that was inside there going, yeah, I know how to read, but I can't. Well, I don't understand that. That was the third me, the me that we might call spirit or soul. And that I communicate, I receive information and messages and relate to other people in these three ways. So I'm going to break down how you can sort of influence people and how you can better read other people by understanding that you have these three parts. First one's the body. 60 to 70% of our communication, of all of our communication is nonverbal, is body language. Actually, some people even say 92% of all of our communication is body language. I'm going to try a little test with you guys here. Where's the brain? Put it back. You're fantastic. Okay. Let's try somewhere in the middle here. Guys, heads up. You ready? This is how to keep your audience alert. 1, 2, 3. Did I hit the ceiling? Trying to pass it off, are you? I got a brain. You got the brain. Actually, you can come on down. You can come on down. Yeah, come on down. Give him a big round of applause. What's your name, sir?
Bob.
Really? Yeah. All right, Bob. Stand on this side of the red dot here. Just would never have guessed Bob. Is it Robert and Bob? Bob is short for Robert, or are you just Bob?
You're going Bob.
Okay, cool. Bob, we're gonna play a little game. Do you like games?
Yeah.
What kind of games do you like?
Card game.
Do you like games that involve money? All right, so I have a $100 bill, and we're gonna play like a roll up the $100 bill, and which hand is it in game? Ever played that game before?
No.
Really? Where'd it go? Okay, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give you the money. You're going to hold it behind your hand. You're going to pick a hand to hold it in. And then you're going to hold your hands out like this. Now I'm going to try to tell you where it is. Okay, Bob, but don't do the tricky thing and put it in your pocket. I hate when they do that. Are you good, Bob? Okay, hold the hands like this. A little further apart. Think about the hand that it's in, Bob. That's your right hand. Open that. Show me. Show me. Yeah. Okay, Bob. Okay, Bob. I love this. It's great. You're doing good. You're doing great. Do it again. Do it again. No pocket. Now we get to learn about Bob. Okay, so is he the kind of person who's going to keep it in the same hand, or is he the kind of person who's going to try to trick me and put it in the other hand, or is he the third type? Okay, are you ready? Here, hold him out when you're ready. What if I fail? It's a hard choice. I know it's a hard choice. A little bit harder. I think he's the third type. What that means is the type that kind of like takes an extra long second, so it seems like he's doing something, and then he leaves it in the same hand that it was in the first place. Yes! Feel good, Bob? You want to learn how to do it? You want to learn how to do it? Okay, here's how you do it. It's really easy. There's a bunch of ways to do this, but I'm going to teach you guys one. You guys want to learn, right? So if you want to do the which hand thing, right? Notice that when somebody holds something in their hand, out like this, that their nose will slightly point to that hand. Bob, which hand is it in? Yeah, that's right. That's right. A big round of applause for Bob. Yes. Experience, Bob. He asked how did I know he was going to try to hide in his pocket? Experience, Bob. That's how I do it. I've done this before. Now, Bob, before you go, we want to do number 2 here. Let's say you were going on a vacation to New York City. Who would you, could be a famous person, who would you want to meet there?
Right out there all the time.
No, just name it out loud. Who would you want to meet? Name a famous person.
A famous person?
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be a non-famous person, but it's more entertaining for them.
My ex-girlfriend.
Sarah. Her name's going to be Sarah. Thank you very much. Fun stuff to look into body language and reading body language. It's fascinating, and it'll help you out. Are you able to effectively read and influence others? So basically, if you use body language, you'll create better rapport more quickly. The mind. I'm going way over time. Sorry, guys. The mind. Okay, so the mental self. We all think mentally. Visually. And we think visually first. They call it the reptilian brain. It's the brain inside your brain, the very center, the part that connects the two halves. And if you think about it, here's a good way to demonstrate this. I want you to think about maybe your living room and your kitchen, whatever room you eat in, and I want you to think about how many windows there are in that room. And if you think about that, you'll notice that you're picturing it in your mind. You're thinking visually first. I like that. I like that. Before she was like, now she's like, yes. I like it. Yeah. And people who studied how people use their visual thought process have learned that your attention is completely selective. There's this great video that I think you're going to see later in somebody else's talk where people are passing a ball. I'm not going to ruin what happens in this video, but it'll totally show you how you can't actually pay attention to everything that's going on. And you will pay attention to only what you're told to pay attention to or what you're interested in. Here's a little test here. I'm going to show you some pictures. They're pictures of me in my kitchen or living room. And each picture, something different is going to happen. Okay? So I want you to see if you can catch the differences. And there will be a little black space between. Now my body will move because I'm in the picture and I didn't Photoshop them. So that's not a difference, but watch to see if you can see the other differences up on the screen. Okay, people, raise your hand just if you saw one difference. You saw something, yeah? Okay, good. But some of you probably saw that the ball moved. Did anyone see the red ball? Not so many, not so many. Okay, good. But what happens is it's really hard to see because there's this black space between, and that's how you see normally. If you're looking around a room, your brain is creating most of the images you see. It's just when you stop that you're actually seeing something. I'll show it to you again. This time, no black space between. You'll just see it go. Hat, skull, coat, ball, book. See how much easier that is? What's happening is that you have a spotlight focus. Your brain focuses on one spot at a time out in space. A spotlight of attention. If you all hold your hands out like that, that's what you pay attention to at any given time. All that other stuff is your brain just creating it. Actually, it's only 1 megapixel in terms of the digital world, which really is more like this. You're really only focused on, you really only see one spot of detailed information. And the soul. So controlling your mind and your body is the you of you, whatever you want to call it. And this is the part that is completely slave to your own perceptions. You might believe that it's a cold day. You might believe that it's a warm day. It's all about how you view the world. Your belief in something controls so much that we're able to manipulate you based on it. That's why magic works. I need a third person. Go back over here. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. 1, 2, 3. What's your name, sir?
Daniel.
Daniel. The people like you. Daniel. Daniel, do me a favor. Let's say you're in New York and you're meeting Bob's ex-girlfriend, Sarah. What do you talk about? What's your topic of conversation?
Where do you want to go for a drink?
I'm going to give you another secret here right now. You should tell her where you're going to go for a drink. You should come up with that one. So a drink is the topic?
Yeah.
Okay. Drink. Thank you very much, guys. Give them a big round of applause. So belief controls reality. I'm going to try to show you something that's unbelievable in a second. But this is one of my favorite quotes from a mentalist from the 30s, Joseph Dunninger. For those who believe, no explanation is necessary. For those who do not, none will suffice. And I think this is true for more than just watching a magic show or a mentalist. I'm going to reiterate, it's a word. I'm going to reiterate some of the things I've talked about real quick here. Think about the body. How do you read and influence others? Through body language. The mind, you've got to challenge assumptions, and you've got to learn to focus that spotlight of attention. The spirit, you've got to question reality and believe in yourself. And you've got to get yourself in other people's spotlights. If you want to sell yourself, if you want to be effective. This is another favorite image of mine. Started with the picture of Einstein. This is Michelangelo's view of God as a brain. Now I'm going to need another person out here, but the brain is gone. So, actually, will you help out? Yeah, come here. Come on up, yeah. Give her a big round of applause. What's your name?
Natalia.
Natalia, thank you. Okay, so I have this envelope that's been here all day, and we've come up with a trip to New York City. You've been to New York City?
I will.
You will. Yes. I like it. You're going to meet Sarah, and you're going to have a drink. Okay. So. Do me a favor. Open that up. Stick that in there. Yeah. Go ahead. And chair. Kill it. I want you to reach inside of there, and inside there should be Another envelope.
Smaller.
Yeah.
Should I open?
That too. You're right, these things are hard to get open. Sorry. There we go. Inside the envelope. Another envelope. No, no. A folded up piece of paper. I want you to do me a favor and read that out loud to everybody.
Thank you, HKUST, for having me at your TEDx event.
Yeah, this is TEDx. Yeah, good.
Our goal is to control for outcomes. And the
King of Spades.
King of Spades, how do you know? Was the first.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you all are enjoying your conversation about a drink with ex-Sarah in your
Imaginary.
imaginary vacation to New York City. That's impressive. And the message is being read by a woman wearing a white top with short red brown hair.
Give her a big round of applause.